You're listening to the In the Tunnel Radio Show with your hosts, Parrish Murphy and Bayou City Prep's recruiting guru, Patrick Truesdale, on CBS Sports Radio 650.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are in tune to In the Tunnel Radio. I'm your host. My name is Parrish Murphy, and from Bayou City Preps, their recruiting guru. His name is Mr. Patrick Truesdale. Mr. Truesdale.
What's going on, Parrish?
How are you feeling today, sir?
Beautiful day.
Beautiful day. Beautiful day. Wonderful day. First show day.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
How about that? Sounds really good. You're in tune to In the Tunnel. We're a brand new show, and we are going to discuss 4 segments every week. It's going to be hot topics. It's also going to be an interview segment where we're going to interview coaches, players, and also some of our sponsors that are sports related. We're going to intertwine them with sports and educate you guys on some things, whether they be sports related, whether they be food related, whether they be tax related or anything like that. And also, Patrick is very good. He is one of the best in the business when it comes to college and high school recruiting, and he will be discussing those things in our last 2 segments. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Hot Topics. And in our Hot Topics segment, we have got to talk the NFL draft. We don't talk about anything.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
The NFL draft.
Especially now, Texas being number 1 pick. It's going to be really interesting.
With the Texans being the number 1 pick, you're wondering, are they going to actually trade down, or are they going to actually get Manziel, or are they going to actually get, Jadeveon Clowney? What exactly are these guys going to do?
It's going to be real interesting. I don't know, and I think about this back in 05, 06, when Vince Young was coming out. He was in the same position. People said they needed a quarterback. Then they ended up getting a defensive end. A lot of people don't want to take defensive ends. First pick in the draft. There's only been 2 in the history. Bruce Smith, I think back in 1985. And of course, he was one of the best, Hall of Famer. Mario Williams, which that didn't pan out. So I think a lot of teams, I think the Texans kind of panicking. They won't Cloudy, but I think they panicking taking him in the first pick in the draft. And that's what everybody trying to figure out. I think they're trying to trade down, like number 2 or whatever, so they can get him. But you can't trade down too much because everybody wants this kid. This kid is a living freak. I mean, what he does and how he did in the combine and where he ran it, he outran a lot of skill players.
He did. As a matter of fact, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No doubt.
The fact he actually outran a lot of the skill players. My question is he the real deal? Because one of the knocks on him was, and listen, I get this 100%. Anytime you have a friend on the other side of the ball who's a spectacular player, just like you, and you see him tear his knees up 2 years in a row,
right,
you are cautious about that. So all of these guys that are sitting up saying, he didn't go 100%. Well, that kind of messes with your psyche just a little bit.
Well, sometimes people panic about them getting hurt. Like you said, his boy, Lattimore. I mean, that kid, that was worse than Lawrence. That was worse than Joe Theismann when Lawrence Taylor hit Joe Theismann. So that was a real freaky accident. And everybody say he didn't play every play. It was times he went to sleep. But the year before that, his freshman year, his sophomore year, he played every down. I mean, the kid was the number 1 player in the country come out of high school.
Right.
So I think the kid, it was times he did play a little lazy. He had his certain reasons. You got to give it 100%. But at the same time, he was trying to protect himself because he's trying to be in the position he's in today, be the number 1 pick, at least number 2, number 3 pick.
Right.
Because he got a future, and he come from nothing. His dad just got out of prison, and he had a pretty tough life. So, this kid just trying to make it for the family, and he loves his community down in South Carolina, the town he's from.
Wow. So he's actually from South Carolina.
Yeah, he's from South Carolina.
Wow.
I actually had a chance to meet the kid down at the Nike Combine down in Atlanta.
Okay.
When he was coming out. Nice kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think he's the real deal?
Oh, yeah, he's a real deal. It's just the ideal. People think that you shouldn't take a defensive end in the first pick of the draft. You can always find a defensive end. There's a lot of defensive ends go late round. You look at Seattle. Look at my boy Mike Bennett out of A-Leaf Taylor. Was the main key of that defense. It wasn't Richard Sherman and them. What makes DBs are the D linemen. You got Red Bryant, the kid from Texas A&M too. Both of them from A&M, from Jasper, Texas. Mm-hmm. But, Red was like a 5th round pick, I think, to Tampa when he went to Tampa. Actually, Bennett went to Tampa too at first, and Bennett was a free agent, and Bennett getting ready to break the bank. So they look at it. You can always find a defensive end. They probably a defensive end could be late round, could be better than Cloud at first round. That's why they figure that defensive ends, I guess, kind of like running backs, I mean, I ain't gonna say they come like running backs coming down a dozen, but they can always find one. But this kid here, it's something special about this kid. Just like it was something special about Bruce Smith. Was it something special about Mario Williams? No. I mean, I think even we didn't get him. Everybody said we should have got Bush if we weren't going to get Vince. We should have got Ferguson. I always say get Ferguson. We always need help at the offensive lineman. But at the end of the day, the Texans have the number one defensive player to me in the league, J.J. Watts. And it's good to get this guy there to make plays and take pressure off J.J. Watts. And you got to understand, this kid, they got to face a quarterback, might be the best quarterback ever played the game. And he definitely going to be the best quarterback. God bless, stay healthy, is Andrew Luck. They got to find a way to beat the Colts and stop Andrew Luck. If they don't do that, they're not going to win.
Yeah, if they don't get out of their division. There are a lot of good players. As a matter of fact, I was looking at Scouts Inc., their top 32 for this upcoming draft. They obviously have Jadeveon going first. They also have Greg Williams, the offensive tackle from Auburn. They also have Khalil Mack, offensive lineman from Buffalo. They also have Sammy Watkins, who's a great receiver out of Clemson, and then Jay Matthews.
Yeah, the kid out of Buffalo back. That's the defensive end.
Absolutely.
Outside linebacker. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, outside linebacker.
He's a real deal.
Right.
He's a real deal.
And they say that you really can't go wrong with some of these skill players.
No, you can't. And then and you talk about the Matthews, it's in his bloodline. But you have the skill players, and with Braw's kid out of Central Florida and Touchdown Johnny and all that, I can't see them taking a quarterback. Coach O'Brien always done a good job with his quarterbacks, working what he did in the past.
Right.
But
he was working with, here's the thing. He was working with Tom Brady.
Right.
Okay. And how much work did he have to do with Tom Brady?
Well, the thing is, I tell everybody, my argument with Tom Brady, we have that argument about who's the best out of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. And then there's always Drew Brees third. And I always say Drew Brees, he always been the best quarterback.
Right.
As far as on paper. Mm-hmm. Everybody say on paper. And I take him over those two guys. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I could take Brees, he can go somewhere else and win. And he won a Super Bowl with the Saints. I could take Manning, he can go somewhere else and win, which he came close this year. But Tom Brady, to me, he's a system player. Mm-hmm. I don't give him all the props in the world. And that's why I give O'Brien and that system up there a lot of credit. They have a system. He is a system player. He cannot go just anywhere else and play. And, he's the biggest crybaby. Because if you're getting, like Son say, you're getting in his legs. He look for flag every time somebody just come tap him. They want to throw the flags out. You know what I mean? You got guys like Michael Vick get late hit. They don't throw no flags out on them.
Well, I tell you what, though, man. I'll take a crybaby who performs on the clutch any day of the week.
Yeah, but when the last time he won a Super Bowl?
Well, that's okay, but he wins games. Yeah. He wins games. It's not like, they've been the first pick in the draft now. I mean, these guys have been consistently competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. And like I said, they have a great system. They take a bunch of nobodies and make them and actually get a lot of guys paid, and they come back and bam, they go somewhere else and they don't perform. It's a system, but like I say, I always say he's a system quarterback. He has won through that system, and he has rings. I give him credit on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Okay. Now, also one of the big names in this draft, we cannot say NFL draft and Texans without mentioning Mr. Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel.
You're not a big Johnny Manziel fan.
He's a good athlete, but for us, a quarterback on the next level, no. And he got too many background issues. I mean, is he going to be disciplined enough to get to the facility on time, to get the film room on time? When you're a quarterback, it's like you being a CEO. That's the hardest and the most responsible position in any sport. Mm-hmm. Can this guy do that? He's undersized. He played in the backyard offense. Mm-hmm. Never played in the system. Mm-hmm. Under center. Mm-hmm. You look at all the quarterbacks. The guy from the Eagles, Carl, played at U of H from that same system. Didn't do anything. No. Is he a first rounder? No. And I think any GM picked him in the top 10. I'm like Mel Hodge on ESPN. They're going to be fine.
Mel Hodge is a little psycho, though. I mean, and here's the thing. I look at ESPN probably not as much as everybody else because I have a life. But the thing that annoys me is some of these guys, I'm you know what? Look, let me just be me and just be very real. Some of these guys are idiots. Let's just be really real about some of this. And here's the thing. I'm not going to listen to somebody like Mark Schlereth, who was peeing on himself during the game, tell me about a quarterback. I'm just not going to do it. Now, if Bill Walsh was still alive, I'd listen to him about a quarterback. Now, there have been some guys that have said, okay, Johnny Manziel might not be the best quarterback, but they've said this guy can lead. And at the end of the day, I don't remember anybody complaining about Jim McMahon. Jim McMahon used to party all night, get drunk, go sleep at the facility, and wake up and lead the Bears and go to practice. That's what he used to do.
Well, you say he got drunk and went to to the facility and went to sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was ready to go.
So why can't Johnny Manziel do that? Why can't he party with Drake, catch a red eye, come home, come to the facility, sleep under a desk, and wake up for the meeting, drink some coffee, and then practice? Why can't he do that?
Because you can't do that these days.
Well, what's different about these days?
I mean, it's a totally different game. I mean, McMahon did it. He won the Super Bowl. Look what he had around him. But McMahon's also had problems after that.
Okay.
You know, and then at the same time, if you judged him too as a quarterback in college, McMahon was a way better quarterback than Touchdown Johnny. I mean, he came from BYU.
Okay, that was quarterback U at the time. I understand. Okay.
Yeah, and then he played on a team with the best running back they say ever played a game. Mm-hmm. You know, what he had around him, and they didn't have to score many points. Mm-hmm. It was like student by the right to Peyton, student by the left. And you put Fridge and them out there, they made plays with Buddy Ryan defense.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, after that, you know.
I'm just saying, but somebody had to make plays and throw the ball.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we're going to pause for the calls right now. In the Tunnel is sponsored by DKNY Tax and Financial Services. We're actually going to talk to them in just a little bit, and these ladies will tell you why it is important to take care of your money so you don't lose it like a lot of these pro athletes. You're in tune to In the Tunnel on CBS Radio 650.
There's no off-season in football. We'll return with more from In the Tunnel with Parrish Murphy and Bayou City Prep's Patrick Truesdale on CBS Sports Radio 650.
April the 15th is the tax filing deadline. Let DKNY Tax and Financial Services prepare your taxes. With greater than 30 years combined experience servicing the Galveston-Houston community, we're eager to assist you with all your tax preparation needs, including audit reviews. Want convenience?
Call us at 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. We provide pick-up and drop-off mobile services. DKNY Tax and Financial Services is an authorized IRS e-file provider.
Join us for our very first In the Tunnel radio show Saturday at noon. The best hot topics and interviews.
And the best college and high school recruiting news, courtesy of Bayou City Preps, Guru, me, Patrick Truesdale.
I'm your host, Parrish Murphy, and we look forward to seeing you in the Tunnel. Sponsored this week by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436.
That's In the Tunnel, 12 noon, Saturday.
Right here on CBS Radio 650. Check out In the Tunnel starting Saturday at 12 noon right here on CBS Radio 650. I'm Parrish Murphy.
I'm Patrick Truesdale from Bayou City Preps.
In the Tunnel has hot topics, interviews,
and the best college and high school recruiting information around.
Sponsored this week by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. 12 noon Saturday on CBS Radio 650.
We'll see you in the Tunnel.
Honorary Sports Management is a full-service sports management and marketing agency that provides athletes with the tools to reach their maximum potential, making the transition from high school to college to professional sports. Honorary Sports Management offers contract negotiation, financial management, estate planning, insurance, training and development, as well as draft preparation and branding. Call 832-831-1615. That's 832-831-1615. Honorary Sports, where each client is treated like family. Bayou City Preps is a scouting and recruiting service that helps high school football athletes achieve their collegiate goals. With many relationships in the college arena, Bayou City Preps offers marketing, combines, camps, and SAT and academic help. Serving the greater Houston and surrounding areas for 17 years, Bayou City Preps can help your high school football athletes maximize their full potential. Call Bayou City Preps at 832-329-4916. That's 832-329-4916.
Check out In the Tunnel starting Saturday at 12 noon right here on CBS Radio 650. I'm Parrish Murphy.
I'm Patrick Truesdale from Bayou City Preps.
In the Tunnel has hot topics, interviews,
and the best college and high school recruiting information around.
Sponsored this week by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. 12 noon Saturday on CBS Radio 650.
We'll see you in the Tunnel.
Honorary Sports Management is a full-service sports management and marketing agency that provides athletes with the tools to reach their maximum potential, making the transition from high school to college to professional sports. Honorary Sports Management offers contract negotiation, financial management, estate planning, insurance, training and development, as well as draft preparation and branding. Call 832-831-1615. That's 832-831-1615. Honorary Sports, where each client is treated like family.
April the 15th is the tax filing deadline. Let DKNY Tax and Financial Services prepare your taxes. With greater than 30 years combined experience servicing the Galveston, Houston community, we're eager to assist you with all your tax preparation needs, including audit reviews. Want convenience?
Call us at 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. We provide pick-up and drop-off mobile services. DKNY Tax and Financial Services is an authorized IRS e-file provider.
Football has no season. It's every day here in Texas. Back to In the Tunnel with Parrish Murphy and Bayou City Prep's Patrick Truesdale on CBS Sports Radio 650.
Right. You are in tune to In the Tunnel, sponsored by DKNY Financial and Tax Services. And we coincidentally have our lovely ladies from DKNY in the house today. How you ladies doing?
Hey, good. It's a good day.
Thank you for coming. I know traffic is quite a bit for you today, but we appreciate having you guys. Now, one of the things that we do is here at In the Tunnel is we try to relate a lot of things that our sponsors do to basically what's going on in sports and things of that nature. And one of the things we do is we're sports nuts, and what we like is we like a lot of sports documentaries. One of the big documentary series is 30 for 30 that we've been watching, and we basically saw one that talked about athletes. It was called Broke, and basically it was just how athletes tend to lose their money when they've made millions upon millions. I'm talking some have made hundreds of millions of dollars and blown it. Now, if they can obviously lose their money, then average Joe Blow can lose his money as well. Now, what are some of the things? First, how do athletes lose money like that?
Many athletes lose millions of dollars because they do not begin with the end in mind, meaning they don't prepare for retirement, the change in the economy, unforeseen injuries, or circumstances. About 80% of NFL players, they go bankrupt in 2 years.
Wow.
60% of the NBA in 5 years.
Wow.
Many athletes don't thoroughly read their contracts, make bad decisions, have a lavish spending habit, and poor financial planning. They live for the right now moment, not for the future.
Wow. That'll do it every time, won't it?
Yes.
Now, average Joe Blow, I mean, obviously, if you make X amount of dollars, you have to live within the framework of that particular budget. And you tend to get a little spoiled sometimes. If you're making millions of dollars, if you're a broke kid, let's say from whatever ghetto in the country, and you get money, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to buy a whole bunch of stuff. You have everyone has a material side of them. Some of them are more lavish than others, I will agree. But what are some of the things that you can do just on an average level? What are some of the things you can do to kind of taper back on some of those things?
Some tips for being money savvy, to be wise, is have a trustworthy tax advisor. Find someone you know who's recommended, someone you can value and trust, someone who is up to date with current changes in the law. Tax laws change every year. That's guaranteed. Don't know what's going to change. They will change.
Now, why do they change every year?
Because those who make the tax laws make that decision.
Wow, because they can.
because they can. And they're going to do it between November and January 1, and that can control when we can begin filing our taxes.
Wow.
Some of the laws that they change are to benefit taxpayers. For instance, the exemption amount increases, whereas you may be getting an extra $100 or $200 to benefit the taxpayer. So they're not always like negative changes. Some of them are good to benefit the taxpayer.
The average taxpayer wants to know what's in it for me. How much am I getting back? Before that, you need to be knowledgeable, particularly those of them, not us, who have money. And stay actively involved with your tax advisor, your CPA, whoever is managing your money.
So it's not just a once-a-year thing. Just don't.
You stay
just
involved.
Don't holler at you in February. We need to make sure that we talk to you guys.
And be involved with them regarding your assets, what you're bringing in, and your expenses, what's going out. So they can determine at the end of the year if you need to see what your investment loss and gains were, see if you need to make an investment that can benefit the impact of your tax for that current year. Maybe you need to go out and buy a club, a business, or something before the end of the year to have that as what you call a tax write-off to lower your tax liability. You need to file your taxes every year. I don't care how much you made or you think you made and don't need to. You're not remove or above. File your taxes every year. Save all your receipts. Say you're moving for a new job to Houston. There's tax credits for you for your moving expenses. Save. Get a shoebox. Athletes, get that box for those big old tennis. Put all
you got enough sneakers.
Yes, you do. Your business entertainment.
Right.
You're going to the club, maybe you're setting everybody up. It could be a business venture. Just save those receipts. Your major purchases, you're buying houses, not for yourself, you're buying your mama a house. Major vehicles, boats, cars. Your charitable deductions given to the community that always looks good for anyone. Save those receipts. Even the clock hours for your charitable deductions are tax deducted.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's funny she said about the house, about buying your mom a house. A lot of athletes, they buy their parents' houses. They buy them a house, but they never pay cash for it.
Never.
And I don't understand that. And what advice you can give?
We see it in the community where we live in Galveston County, a lot of plants, industrial plants, and they have an explosion. Everybody's signing up that they were injured somewhere, and they get really large settlements, and they put some down on a house and some down on a car, and they lose them.
Right.
Wow.
They don't buy, then they have the money. You just don't buy it.
Wow.
Well, if they don't outright buy their house and they're getting a mortgage, the interest that they pay yearly, that is a deductible, the interest and the taxes.
Wow.
Right.
On the house that they did not pay outright cash.
Okay.
If they're getting a house financed.
Okay. Now, tax time is coming up, April 15th. That is this Tuesday. What are some tips that you can do just to help regular folks and all the In the Tunnel listeners?
File.
Okay.
File. If you don't file, if you don't get it postmarked in the mail or push the send button, Kim, call us. Get an extension.
Okay.
File. Be savvy with your business.
Okay.
The
Treat it like
government
it's important.
is alive.
Yeah, the government be savvy with you.
Yes.
They don't care.
Something else you can do, you can allow DKNY, tax professionals, to advise you on how to maximize your tax deductions. Call us. Come see us.
How about that? Now, you guys also do financial advising as well.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Now, if let's say I'm regular Joe Blow, what are just a couple of quick points? And don't give away all your secrets, but just what are a couple of quick points that I can do to just better myself from a financial standpoint?
Make a budget. You have to have a budget, and you have to live by your budget.
Mm-hmm.
You have to spend wisely, and you have to stay on task. If you have a budget and you say you're going to spend X amount of dollars, then you need to spend that amount of dollars. You can't say, oh, I have this extra money, I'm going to go. You have to be able to stay within your budget, save money, and spend wisely.
Okay. So,
Stick to the script.
Okay. So if I'm an NBA player, the strip club's not a write-off? Is that what you're saying?
If you're entertained.
If you're entertaining,
If you're entertained.
If I'm on the pole, it is.
Yeah.
I understand.
And maybe not for the player, but maybe for his what do you call yourself, Mr. His
I'm not an agent, but agent.
Okay, well, his agent could be
I'm a
there
mentor.
meeting. His agent could be there meeting him and need to write off
Type
some
of a
expenses.
I just say his old scout evaluated him in high school, got him where he is, and made him like me.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I can't do strip clubs. I don't go to strip clubs.
Oh, okay.
And when you're seeking someone to prepare your taxes, find someone who is legitimate.
How do you do that? How do you do that? Because there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who stand on the corner with signs, a lot of people who have signs and businesses. How do you evaluate who's good and who's not?
You have to be knowledgeable to some point of knowing. Don't let them prepare your taxes and you sign that bottom line. Once you sign that line, you are saying, I agree and provided all this information. Don't go to someone who can get you something back. You don't know what they're getting you other than maybe having to pay back the government.
And you can also
Word
look
of
on the
mouth.
IRS website.
Wow.
We're IRS approved. And so we're, as she said, word of mouth. Our clients are our best supporters.
This is true. If you got somebody good, you will pass it on.
Yes.
Okay.
Our retention rate increases by referrals.
Awesome.
And we're not just here January 1 to April 15. We're year round.
Yes.
How about that?
And we are available
24/7. They call us through the night.
Okay, and the one thing that I love about you guys is it's very unique. You service Galveston, Houston, but you also have a courier service that picks up and drops off taxes. Correct?
Yes.
Talk to me a little about that.
Yes.
We have clients who rather not be in office. They're busy day to day. And so we provide a quality drop-off and pick-up service where they may contact us, and we have an assistant who will make contact with that taxpayer and arrange for the documents to be picked up. We prepare it. We send it back by the courier, and they drop it off. Or they'll send it to us electronically. We'll send them a draft electronically for their review, and it's taken care of that way.
Awesome. That takes out a lot of the legwork.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. You can talk to these young ladies. They are DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That is 409-692-0436. DKNY Tax and Financial Services. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming by. It is wonderful, and thank you for being one of our sponsors. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Sounds wonderful. And by the way, don't judge. Anybody that goes to the strip club, don't judge. Don't judge. You are not their judge.
We don't judge. We're not judging.
Okay,
we're tax professionals. We don't judge.
Sounds good. DKNY Tax and Financial Services is a proud sponsor of In the Tunnel Radio. You're listening to CBS Radio 650. We will be back in just a moment.
We'll be back with more from In the Tunnel with Parrish Murphy and Bayou City Prep's Patrick Truesdale on CBS Sports Radio 650.
Bayou City Preps is a scouting and recruiting service that helps high school football athletes achieve their collegiate goals. With many relationships in the college arena, Bayou City Preps offers marketing, combines, camps, and SAT and academic help. Serving the greater Houston and surrounding areas for 17 years, Bayou City Preps can help your high school football athletes maximize their full potential. Call Bayou City Preps at 832-329-4916. That's 832-329-4916. Honorary Sports Management is a full-service sports management and marketing agency that provides athletes with the tools to reach their maximum potential, making the transition from high school to college to professional sports. Honorary Sports Management offers contract negotiation, financial management, estate planning, insurance, training and development, as well as draft preparation and branding. Call 832-831-1615. That's 832-831-1615. Honorary Sports, where each client is treated like family.
Join us for our very first In the Tunnel radio show Saturday at noon. The best hot topics and interviews.
And the best college and high school recruiting news, courtesy of Bayou City Preps, Guru, me, Patrick Truesdale.
I'm your host, Parrish Murphy, and we look forward to seeing you in the tunnel. Sponsored this week by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436.
That's In the Tunnel, 12 noon, Saturday.
Right here on CBS Radio 650. Check out In the Tunnel starting Saturday at 12 noon right here on CBS Radio 650. I'm Parrish Murphy.
I'm Patrick Truesdale from Bayou City Preps.
In the Tunnel has hot topics, interviews,
and the best college and high school recruiting information around.
Sponsored this week by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. 12 noon Saturday on CBS Radio 650.
We'll see you in the tunnel.
It happened at my daughter's wedding. This guy kept shoving me. Have I done something to hurt you or your family? He said no and shoved me again. I'd had enough. So I banged his head on the table where unfortunately the candle set his hair on fire. My daughter, trying to make me feel better, told me her friends thought what I'd done was cool. But I thought to myself, it's not cool. I'm an adult. Another daughter asked if I'd be willing to see someone who'd been working with post-traumatic stress since Vietnam. I said yes, and that was it. I could not accept I was here when 10 of my men have their names on that black shiny wall in D.C. Guilt permeated every day of my life. Through counseling, I was able to regroup, understand my situation, keep all my men in my heart, and move on with my life. If you have PTS, do not be ashamed. Be proud and see a professional. I did it and it worked for me. It will work for you too. Visit the National Center for Post-Traumatic Stress at va.gov.
This has been a message from the Veterans Administration and CBS Cares and featured Medal of Honor recipient Paul Buca.
Join us for our very first In the Tunnel radio show Saturday at noon. The best hot topics and interviews.
And the best college and high school recruiting news, courtesy of Bayou City Preps Guru, me, Patrick Truesdale.
I'm your host, Parrish Murphy, and we look forward to seeing you in the tunnel. Sponsored this week by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436.
That's In the Tunnel, 12 noon, Saturday.
Right here on CBS Radio 650.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6, I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6, I make his breakfast. At 7, I shower. Every day I wake up
For those caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
We're calling an audible. We're back with more In the Tunnel with Parrish Murphy and Bayou City Preps Patrick Truesdale on CBS Sports Radio 650.
Sponsored by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, we are in the tunnel live. Yes, indeed. My name is Parrish Murphy, and this gentleman sitting next to me, his name is Patrick Truesdale. He is the sports guru, the recruiting guru for Bayou City Preps. Well, it's our third segment. In our third segment, we will discuss college recruiting and college news, and it is springtime. Springtime is here. The weather in Houston is beautiful, and with springtime comes the spring games and spring practices.
Yes, sir. The College Coaches Report, April 15th to May 31st. Down there already evaluating the kids in the spring.
Already evaluating the kids, man. Wow.
Yes, and it's crazy. They asking me for all the ninth, and they want an 8th grade list.
Wow. Wait. The coaches are asking you. Division I college coaches are asking you for an 8th grade list?
They want a 2018 list.
Okay, let me ask you something. When does this become ridiculous? I mean, when does this really become really, really stupid at some point in time? How do you evaluate what an 8th grader is going to do in college? I mean, you're talking, well, anything can happen in 4 years.
You're right. But I won't say it's stupid because you have some kids, you see the potentials early. And you have some kids are really good and they reach their peak early.
Right.
Then this day and time, Parrish, man, you got kids. It's just unbelievable how big they are now.
Well, yeah,
how fast they're growing with the strength conditioning and all that.
It's all that church's chicken. The steroids in the church's chicken.
Serious, really. I mean, they run at unbelievable times.
Wow.
You know, now the hearts are not like it were when we were coming up now, but you do have a lot of them that have heart. Mm-hmm. If you find them have heart, they be just incredible athletes. Mm-hmm. But, you look at the kid down in Louisiana got offered by Alabama.
Right.
And I seen that kid down at Baylor at the junior day. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's 9th grade. He played linebacker, played running back. He's going to be a linebacker, though. But this kid is big. Right. You take a kid like Devontae Anderson out of Manville. Mm-hmm. He's a sophomore. He's my number 1 sophomore. And this kid, free safety. And he was starting on varsity as a 9th grade. He's about 6'3.5". Probably about right now he's probably sitting about 205. And this kid it's hard to play varsity in Texas, especially on a big time level 5A. Mm-hmm. You play varsity 9th grade and you dominate.
Yeah, you're a hell of a ball player if you can play at a 9th grade or at a 5A school.
Right. And so a lot of they want to get on these kids early. It's starting to get like AAU football. It's early commitment is a big thing now. And I'm sorry, being like AAU basketball, it's starting to get like that because that's when he was known. That's when it was known for kids in basketball getting off for like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Mm-hmm. But now everything is getting early. Everybody getting on early. Sometimes it's a smart thing to do, And you have some kids just reach their potential like later on down the road,
Wow. That is absolutely crazy. Now, along with, Texas Southern University has their spring game today. And I'm told they look pretty good today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know I haven't really kept up with Texas Southern for the last 2 years because I know they had the sanctions going on. And I think that stuff going on all the way to 2017.
Right.
I've been pretty much knowing what's going on down in Prairie View. Mm-hmm. I know Arthur Lockett had a real good spring. They had a spring game yesterday, and they look pretty good. They just trying to get better on their defense.
Now, you've been doing this recruiting thing for about 14 years, and you were telling me that probably the best athlete in the country is going to Prairie View A&M?
One of the best, Arthur Lockett.
Right.
The kid, he came out last year.
Right.
And he was a steal. Mm-hmm. He was a straight steal. I mean, you have a lot of kids around here. He had some great issues from the beginning and got better. And they said little knocks on him. He undersized and that. But the kid is a warrior. Mm-hmm. I mean, the kid, no doubt, should be playing Division I football. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you have those kids get overlooked. Sometimes schools don't know what they're doing. They don't evaluate them. And you'd be like, you wouldn't believe the local schools pass up on these on certain prospects on kids like this. You know, you'll think U of H or Rice offer them, even low divisional schools. So, you know, a lot of times that happens. Wow. That happens a lot, yeah.
Wow. You know, another sponsor of In the Tunnel radio program is Triple J Smokehouse, located at 6715 Homestead. They have been serving the Houston community with the best barbecue since 1994. Call 713-635-6384 and find out why Triple J's won this year's Foodie Award at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. That's Triple J Smokehouse, 713-635-6384. Continue with spring news. We got some bad spring news, too. Oregon has lost their number 1 and number 3 receiver.
Yeah. The kid, Braylon Addison, he's going to be a junior next year. You know, he's a local kid.
Yeah, local kid, yeah.
Yeah, Hightower High School, tore his ACL.
Wow.
And, you know, they say there's a possibility he can be back before the season. It's pretty tough. The way things are today, it depends. I guess sometimes it depends on the surgery and it depends on the individual.
And on the surgeon, I guess.
Yeah, and it depends on the individual. But the kid was having a hell of a spring. Had a great year last year. Wow. He caught for like 800-some yards last year.
Right, yeah. Braylon caught 890 yards.
Yeah.
61 catches, 890 yards. Wow.
Yeah,
also, the kid who was the starting quarterback for Miami, he tore his ACL too.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of times freaky things happen in spring practice, you know, and that's why I was listening to Kingsbury. They have their spring game today, Texas Tech, and he was just saying how they went light the last couple of days, you know, for the spring game.
Are they working these kids too hard?
Well, things happen.
Or too much?
I won't say they working too hard. Some schools, they do run their kids down in the spring. Sometimes they run their kids down in spring practice or certain practices, but sometimes things just happen. That's just part of the game.
Wow.
And you just hate to see it happen, period, especially during the spring.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, a lot of times the kids end up being out for the year. They're going to probably give them an extra year or two at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Also, on a note, we definitely want to keep this young man in our prayers. Duke quarterback Brandon Connett has been given permission to transfer a little closer to home. His mother is suffering with cancer, and he wanted to move, make sure he was a little closer to mom and help her out as well. That's pretty sad. Yeah. We're definitely going to keep he and his family in our prayers. Also, a bunch of new changes this year. New coaches, same faces, different places.
Yes.
We already know about Charlie Strong, but a good coach who just been in way too much trouble here of late, Bobby Petrino. I think because of what happened at Arkansas, I think a lot of people really forget how good this guy really is. He's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, he's a good coach, and you can be good what you do, but you got to watch what you do, especially when you're in certain positions. I'm just saying, like, being a coach, like being a preacher sometimes. I mean, how can you go in his kid house and promise his mama things, and you sort of set the example, and you set the example and have this nice blonde chick riding on the bike with you.
Well, we all fall short of glory.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even having said that, this guy can coach football, can he?
Yeah, he's a good football coach. I mean, he's a great offensive-minded guy.
Right.
He has a reputation. Not only he did that, he walked out on his team.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah. It's all about trust.
But you know what?
It's all about trust.
You know what? It's like that. It's like that pretty. It's like that fine girl. You know what? She can leave somebody, but she's fine, and you gonna take her.
Yeah.
That's just what it is at the end of the day. And you know what? At the end of the day, this guy can help you win games, and he's good. I don't think Louisville's going to miss too much of a beat. They're actually going to be in the ACC this year, correct?
Right. They're going to be in the ACC this year.
Which is a little tougher conference. They got to fight.
And, he did a good job when he was at Louisville, and the program went down after he left. Charlie Strong built it back up. Charlie left him some good players, some good recruiting classes. A couple of kids stayed committed, a couple of kids decommitted. And I think they're going to do a real good. He's going to do a good job. He's going to do a good job. He had a good staff too, and he got, we all know Strong had a lot of ties down in Florida. He had a couple of coaches with ties in Florida. Lamar Thomas is receiver coach, and he's going to be recruiting South Florida. So he's going to be all right. He's going to be good. Like I said, ACC is a conference.
Right.
I've always been the most underrated conference. And I know I'm a local. I'm from Texas. I'm from Houston, straight out of Hard Clark, Texas. But at the end of the day, I always have arguments with all the people down there because this is Big 12 country. But I always tell my friends, ACC is better than the Big 12. Now, we know the SEC the best.
SEC is the best.
ACC is better than the Big 12 because you think about it. The year when Mario Williams came out, they had 36 guys got drafted in that conference, the most in any other conference besides the SEC last year. Because the SEC had, 50-some kids, 50-some players got drafted.
Yeah, they did.
So, I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, they are the best conference. You know, everybody was saying that Florida State didn't play nobody. I'm like, they had an ACC. What are you talking about? Oh, they don't play nobody. Yeah. They going to play the SEC. Well, who won the last national championship? Florida State.
Well, wait a minute now. But Jimbo Fisher has admittedly said he built that team like an SEC team.
Well, that's what you got to do to be the best. I mean, you look at the teams Pete Carroll had. They was SEC teams. Absolutely. I look at the potentials. What Coach Strong going to do down in Texas. He's going to build an SEC team. Because the first thing you got to realize, you got to have a defense. And a lot of players that Jimbo got down in Florida State, they are SEC players. You know, so and that's one of the main things. If you're not in the SEC, you want to compete. So you got to go get those type of players.
Absolutely.
So because when you get to the big dance, you're going to play in the SEC team. And that's something I have the confidence that Strong was going to do down in Texas. And he's defensive minded because you got to be defensive minded. You got to have a defensive player in the Big 12. And you got to have the T. That's what he's been preaching down in Austin all during the spring to the media, trying to bring the T down there in Texas, the toughness.
Okay.
Yeah. And changing the culture of recruiting, too, because the talent level is really not where it needs to be. And that's something that he's trying to do. And he still have a chance to win that conference. Because you look at Texas, you look at all the soap operas going down there, they still a game for winning the conference. That just shows how.
Well, that's true.
That just shows how weak that conference is. Because with the players he got, he can still win it. And main thing, building a quarterback, changing the offense, bringing the toughness there, like I say. In 2-3 years, his recruiting classes he's going to be getting, they compete with the big dogs in the SEC. Right now, they actually can play because the Big 12 is no offense. I mean, it's no defense. I'm sorry, it's no defense. And a lot of head coaches are truly offensive-minded guys. And when you're too offensive-minded, you forget about the other side of the ball.
Speaking of offensive-minded guys, real quick, Steve Sarkisian, he's going to be at USC. What kind of job will he do? Real quick.
He got a chance. I mean, he's at USC. But it's, like I say, Pac-12 is very competitive, too.
Absolutely.
So, it's SC. You can use that name, but he was offensive coordinator back in the days, but I think he did a good job. He definitely did a good job, but he got his hand for it. You got to play Coach Shaw. Got the two teams in Arizona, Harrison. You got Rodriguez. Oregon. So it's gonna be really interesting in that conference too.
Oh, it's gonna be a rumble.
Cross-town rivalry to UCLA. They got the best quarterback in the conference.
They really do. They really do. And a lot of people are sleeping on them, but slowly but surely they're putting together a good team.
UCLA. And that's gonna be Texas' big test because they played them in Dallas and Texas Stadium. I think September the 14th. So it's going to be Texas' big test. It's going to be a real interesting game.
That could be worth going to.
And they got USC 2016. They come here, and then Texas got to go there 2017.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to get really real. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good. You're listening to In the Tunnel Radio Show. My name is Parrish Murphy. This gentleman beside me, he is the recruiting guru for Bayou City Preps. We are sponsored by DKNY Tax and Financial Services. Let them work with and do your taxes for you. We'll be back in just a minute on CBS Radio 650.
You're in the tunnel with Parrish Murphy and Bayou City Preps recruiting guru Patrick Truesdale on CBS Sports Radio 650.
April the 15th is the tax filing deadline. Let DKNY Tax and Financial Services prepare your taxes. With greater than 30 years combined experience servicing the Galveston, Houston community, we're eager to assist you with all your tax preparation needs, including audit reviews. Want convenience?
Call us at 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. We provide pick-up and drop-off mobile services. DKNY Tax and Financial Services is an authorized IRS e-file provider.
Bayou City Preps is a scouting and recruiting service that helps high school football athletes achieve their collegiate goals. With many relationships in the college arena, Bayou City Preps offers marketing, combines, camps, and SAT and academic help. Serving the greater Houston and surrounding areas for 17 years, Bayou City Preps can help your high school football athletes maximize their full potential. Call Bayou City Preps at 832-329-4916. That's 832-329-4916.
April the 15th is the tax filing deadline. Let DKNY Tax and Financial Services prepare your taxes. With greater than 30 years combined experience servicing the Galveston, Houston community, we're eager to assist you with all your tax preparation needs, including audit reviews. Want convenience?
Call us at 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. We provide pick-up and drop-off mobile services. DKNY Tax and Financial Services is an authorized IRS e-file provider.
Honorary Sports Management is a full-service sports management and marketing agency that provides athletes with the tools to reach their maximum potential, making the transition from high school to college to professional sports. Honorary Sports Management offers contract negotiation, financial management, estate planning, insurance, training and development, as well as draft preparation and branding. Call 832-831-1615. That's 832-831-1615. Honorary Sports, where each client is treated like family.
In the wake of a disaster, what one thing can you send that will help people the most? A blanket, a tent, a sandbag, a doctor. Actually, if you send a monetary donation, you send all these things. Even a small donation can make a big impact and can quickly become exactly what people affected by disaster need most.
Want to help those affected by Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines? To donate, visit philippinesrelief.adcouncil.org. That's philippinesrelief.adcouncil.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm Rashida Jones.
And I'm Quincy Jones. I know how fast time goes by and the importance of cherishing life's special moments. In the blink of an eye, your world can change, and suddenly you're faced with health risks.
1 in 6 men will develop prostate cancer in their lifetime, and every 16 minutes a man dies of prostate cancer in the U.S. But prostate cancer is often treatable.
So speak to your healthcare provider about a plan for your prostate health. Go to pcf.org
or visit standuptocancer.org.
A Kind Voice is a call-in line that lives upstream from depression hotlines. You don't need to be experiencing a crisis to call us. Our volunteers take calls on a book you read, a movie or game you saw, or just about anything you'd like to discuss. Call 800-876-2399 to speak with A Kind Voice. Our volunteers aren't professional counselors. They're kind voices who are here for you. Call 800-876-2399 or visit us at akindvoice.org.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Live, breathe, eat football. It's In the Tunnel on CBS Sports Radio 650. Here's Parrish Murphy and Bayou City Preps Patrick Truesdale.
Sponsored by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, we are In the Tunnel. My name is Parrish Murphy, and the gentleman next to me is Bayou City Preps Sports and Recruiting Guru, Patrick Truesdale. We in the deep water with you now, man.
What's up with it? Let's do it.
High school recruiting. First, let's talk about something kind of interesting that I just happen to have seen here of late. Celebrity kids that are playing football. Yeah. Randall Cunningham has a son who's actually an outstanding high jumper. He is actually I think he holds the record in the country for high jumping.
Yes,
Randall Cunningham's son, he plays quarterback. He is committed to USC. And I guess they're still under sanctions because they have him under a track scholarship. But he's great at track, so they're going to let him do both. So,
right. I mean, they signed him as track, but they're going to play quarterback.
Well, that's not a waste of a scholarship.
No. It's pretty much like how they did Moss, and Moss gave him track and football. And he's, like I said, he's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like I say, he holds a world record in high jump high school.
Wow. Yeah. So does he have an opportunity to actually legitimately compete for the starting job?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
He can play.
Wow.
This kid can play. Tall, athletic like his dad.
Wow.
Ranging, like I say, he faster, and he leaped way higher than his dad. I see it on the field like his dad was.
How's his arm, though?
He has a good arm.
Wow.
That's a pretty good program. He went to the prep school up in Vegas. Mm. They got a real good program, real good coaching staff down there.
Wow. Yeah. Also, Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Snoop? Yep. His son is the real deal. And you can tell Snoop put a lot of time investing in this kid. This kid's probably run the smoothest routes and they have great hands. He was a quarterback at first, then moved to receiver. And right now, you have everybody in the country offering him. He can play. It's not like one of them things where you have a lot of these celebrity kids. I ain't going to say no name by the name of Puff. His son was at UCLA. Not going to say anything, no negative. But this kid can play. This kid, he the real deal.
Okay. All right.
He the real deal.
Now, also, the late Nate Dogg.
Yes.
His
Nate
son.
Dogg. Yes. His son's at Arizona. He's going to Arizona and got great technique, play cornerback. He's going to be a good one. Rodriguez sound a real good fundamentally sound DB.
Wow. Now, I'm sorry, we didn't say, where is Snoop's son going?
Snoop's son is wide open. He has another year. Nate's son came out this year. He's a 14 kid. Snoop's son's a 15 kid.
Okay.
So his way is open in the air. I don't know if he's going to keep him in L.A. I know UCLA and USC is like the top choices. But there's a lot of schools everywhere trying to offer him. Tennessee offered him. LSU offered him.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's getting a lot of love. He's a real deal.
Wow. Gentleman, young man by the name of Trey Mason. His mom is she was a comedian, and her name is Angela. I can't think of Angela's name. It just lost me. But she was actually in Fridays. Yeah. She was Debo's girlfriend in Fridays.
No, Trey Mason is the guy.
I'm sorry, Trey Mason is the young man from Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn.
And his dad is was in the group De La Soul.
Right.
Gotcha, okay, he's in the group De La Soul. Okay.
Yeah, he was up for the Heisman, and now he's going to the draft.
Right. Wow, isn't that something?
Yeah, he's going to be Mason the real deal, and we all saw him on the big stage.
Okay. Now, now what was the kid's name whose mom was in? I'm trying to think. He was in
Kenya. The mom plays Felicia in Friday.
Yeah, she played Felicia in Friday. She was Debo's girlfriend. She was also in House Party. Wow, I'm really dating myself. House Party 3. She was in that as well. He is a very, very good player. What position does he play?
He's a quarterback. He's out of California.
Okay.
Outside of LA, and he's going to University of Miami.
Okay.
And he's going to be all right, man. He's about 6'3", 6'2.5", 6'3", and he's a very good pocket quarterback. He can run, but he stays he's a pocket type quarterback.
Okay.
So that's something Miami been needing. And like I said, he might come in and play early with the injuries over the spring we talked about earlier.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Now, also some of the local stars, especially some of the local star athletes. I mean, we know Ricky Winslow used to play for Phi Slama Jama here in town.
Yeah,
his son Justice.
Yeah, Justice, 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year. That's
Isn't
tough.
That something? Wow.
In Texas. Yeah, that's all I do. And this kid gonna be better than his dad.
I saw this kid play. He is better than his daddy. Yeah. No question.
My best friend Eddie Cumbo been telling about this kid from day one. I first saw the kid got size. He's an all-around player, and Coach K got something working with him. If this kid Parker stay another year and this kid come in, it's going to be really impressive.
If Parker stays and this kid, can you imagine the class that Duke is going to have? That's going to be outright ridiculous.
And Parker ain't made this announcement yet, and I'm surprised.
But you know what? But he might not. He might be one of those kids that might stay 2 years and just say, you know what? I like college.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he doesn't. And listen, if you have a financial burden of your family and you feel that you need to do something necessary to change your financial situation, listen, do whatever you need to do to help your family if you're in a position to do that. But if you're not, why not? Why not stay and learn and have fun? I mean, they can say what they want about Coach K. Coach K is one of the best basketball minds around.
He's a coach. He's a motivator. He has a system, but his system don't get you ready for the next level. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of kids end up coming out, because you think about it. Let's break down Duke. All the players they had, none of them never did anything in the pros, and the ones that did good, right? Grant Hill. Mm-hmm. This kid here would do good because those kids are already ready and sounded. But a lot of guys that he had in the past, and I used to have a friend we used to argue all the time, who was the best coach out of Coach K and Dean at North Carolina, and I says no question. Dean Smith used to tell his boys to come out early, and he did probably the best. And I have friends that play ball, like my friend Malik Evans played ball with a couple of guys and overseas, and Combo played CBA with a couple of guys, and they used to tell those guys up, and those guys said those guys realized how behind they were, and a lot of NBA scouts then got smart now, and they realize they're not taking a lot of them Duke boys early. But a kid like Parker, he just can play. He just can play, and this kid, he's going to come out early.
Well, one of the things too is one of the major things too is when the guy who invented basketball is one of the guys that was your mentors, like Dean Smith, the guy who invented basketball. Exactly. So that is crazy. Wow. One of our sponsors is Triple J's Smokehouse, located at 6715 Homestead. They've been serving the Houston community with great barbecue since 1994. You can give them a call, 713-635-6384. That's 713-635-6384. And find out why Triple J's won this year's Foodie Award at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Baked potatoes. That's why they got the best baked potatoes.
And their owner was a good little running back himself.
Oh, man, I first saw that guy. I was in the 8th grade at Butler Stadium. Him and Rodney Hampton played in that backfield together. That was one of the best 1-2 punches I ever seen. Best friends today, and both of those guys are successful today. Rodney ended up going Georgia, ended up going to the Giants, and Jerry Scales ended up going to Purdue. Played running back, they switched from the DB, ended up going to Canada. You know, they great role models for a lot of the athletes. Come out there and let them know, you know, what's life after football.
Good.
You know, you got Ham went to the pros, but he owns Bell's Bondsman. You know, he's a businessman now. Jerry is a businessman. You know, so it lets you know, what's life after sports. These guys are great role models for all the prospects.
Also, a couple other guys. Mitchell Wiggins, his son, went to Kansas. He is going to be in the NBA draft coming up soon. I believe he's already declared. And Bobby Humphrey used to play for Alabama and also play for the Denver Broncos. His son is a very, very good football player, and he'll be doing some really big things as well.
And he got a nephew, John Humphrey.
Wow.
And his dad was a ball player, too, John Humphrey Sr.
So they just keep playing the ball.
And he got it on both sides. Mom kin to Beyonce. Mm-hmm. So the kid can dance real good on the field. So I guess he get it from his cousin Beyonce, and he get his athleticism from his dad. John Humphrey Sr. Played at Tampa and played in Canada. My man, Texas A&I.
Man,
Sons at sight at Cliff Falls. Be on the lookout for him. One of the fastest kids in the country.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, listen, this is what we do. We're going to talk to you about hot topics. We're going to have some interesting interviews, and we're also going to talk to you about college sports, and we're also going to talk to you about high school sports and recruiting. My name is Parrish Murphy. This gentleman, he is Patrick Truesdale from Bayou City Preps. And he is outstanding when it comes to information about kids and things of that nature. We're going to continue to do this, and we're going to have fun doing it. And we're also going to upload some things to our website at inthetunnelradioshow.com. So if you've missed anything on the show, you can obviously go back and you can check on that. At this time, we like to take time to thank all of our wonderful sponsors, and definitely our show sponsor, DKNY Tax and Financial Services. Their number is 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. Thank you, lovely, lovely, lovely ladies, for being a sponsor of In the Tunnel. For Patrick Truesdale from Bayou City Preps, I am Parrish Murphy. We know that you have other alternatives in radio listening, and we are truly honored and glad that you chose us right here at In the Tunnel to kind of hang out with. You got anything coming up soon, man?
Yeah, we'll be here next Saturday, and I plan on going down to the Texas Spring game.
Okay.
Hang out down there and see what's going on. And, Combine's coming up, and I'll be giving the details on that. There's a big one coming in May. Mm-hmm. A lot of college coaches are going to be there, so I'll definitely be giving that information out next week when we get on the air.
Sounds good. Now, this is a high school combine, correct?
Yeah, high school combine in May. There's a lot of college coaches going to be there.
Okay.
Usually they couldn't come out in the spring to combines, but somebody pulled something off this one, and it's going to be really interesting. So I know about give everybody information, all the players around the city and their listeners, the information on this combine. It's going to be pretty big.
Okay.
In May.
Sounds good.
Definitely want to give a shout out to all my barbers out there. My man, Dude, Sharon, and my boy, JD, and Mike, all up and down Cullen. Give a shout out to them, man.
Okay, sounds good. And we'll do this again next week, and next time we'll have some more information, we'll have some more fun, and we'll also have some more laughs. You're in tune to CBS Radio 650, and you are tuned to In the Tunnel. Next week, I'm Parrish Murphy.
Patrick Truesdale.
And next week, we'll see you in the tunnel.
You're listening to In the Tunnel with Parrish Murphy and Bayou City Preps Patrick Truesdale on CBS Sports Radio 650.
Join us for our very first In the Tunnel radio show Saturday at noon. The best hot topics and interviews.
And the best college and high school recruiting news, courtesy of Bayou City Preps Guru, me, Patrick Truesdale.
I'm your host, Parrish Murphy, and we look forward to seeing you in the tunnel. Sponsored this week by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436.
That's In the Tunnel, 12 noon, Saturday.
Right here on CBS Radio 650. Check out In the Tunnel starting Saturday at 12 noon right here on CBS Radio 650. I'm Parrish Murphy.
I'm Patrick Truesdale from Bayou City Preps.
In the Tunnel has hot topics, interviews,
and the best college and high school recruiting information around.
Sponsored this week by DKNY Tax and Financial Services, 409-692-0436. That's 409-692-0436. 12 noon Saturday on CBS Radio 650.
We'll see you in the tunnel.